What's up, Anime Redux Rebels? This is your Judge B coming at you again. This is going to be a Rebel interview, or whatever the hell we're going to call it this time. I know I have been kind of busy and not here, not doing a lot of shows so far, but I'm going to be coming to you guys now and try to get this done. Right now, I have someone here who I have been trying to get an interview with for a while because he's a great and awesome prop maker, and some of you know I'm trying to get into prop making too. We have Mr. davence Young, is that correct?
DaVincci.
DaVincci.
Yes,
We'll go with
yes.
that. So, for some of y'all who don't know, he's actually a group member in Redux Rebels, but I guess he's just more of a quiet person. He posts certain things about his props a lot of times, but doesn't really communicate with everyone. But I really think he should be highlighted because he's actually a professional prop maker. Like, this is a guy who actually has fun doing his job, making cool stuff. So, let's have a conversation with him and learn more about him. So, Mr. DaVincci, as you like to be called. Okay, so let's first start off with, tell us a little about yourself, Mr. DaVincci, davence Young.
New York, born and bred. I am now 42 years old. Will be 43 in a couple of months. I'm an old dog.
Old dogs with good tricks.
There you go. I am a classically trained artist. I went to school for arts and design, so I know commercial arts, fine arts. I love working the airbrush, Photoshop, all that good stuff. Hobbies, anything dealing with art, anime, video games, all that good stuff.
Okay. Now, from what I'm seeing already from the background, you're already working on a lot of stuff right now. I can see that already. Do you ever run any issues with storage?
All the time.
And if I'm not mistaken, I do believe I see a little bit of Gurren Lagann behind you, which is that one you were working on a while ago.
Yeah. Yep. This is the helmet right here. He's actually all done. My client finally got back to me. He's got the money now to get it shipped. One thing I try to tell my clients, when you hire me to do these huge costumes, be prepared for the shipping cost. They are not cheap at all. So he's been doing it piece by piece, shipping it out to him. So this next batch is going to be the helmet and the torso, what you see in the background there. And these two pieces alone is going to cost him about $350 to ship.
Ow!
Yeah, because of the size.
How long have you been cosplaying? Like, what was the first time you ever started?
Very first time I really did it was back before cosplay was even considered cosplay. I was 8 years old. My dad decided to be a little on the cheap side, with the costuming for me and my sisters. So instead of getting us something decent, he bought us these plastic blow-up type costumes. If you can imagine like a green poncho that goes from your neck down, out of plastic, with this funny looking mouth and face on it. And then for our hat, imagine a huge blow up watermelon with a happy smile on it that you tie around your chin.
Okay.
I was just too through, but Dad bought it, so I had to wear it. So me and my sister went out, in the hallway area, and we were and with other kids, and we're walking around with just costumes on, and I'm looking just sad. I'm like deflated me. I didn't want to play. I didn't want to have no fun because I'm wearing this ridiculous behind costume. So there was a girl on the floor that was a family friend named Bernadette, saw how sad I was, and she was like, "Honey, come on, what's wrong?" I was like, "My dad got me wearing this stupid behind costume. I mean, look at this thing. I got a balloon on my head." That was so not cool to me at all. She said, "Come on in, we'll take care of this," and took off the ridiculous costume, and she had some green makeup, and she spiked up my hair with the makeup and painted my face green as well. Drew stitch marks on my face and my neck, little bolts and whatnot. Put on some of her platform shoes, and I was a Black Frankenstein, and walked out of the house going like that, scared the piss out of all the kids on the floor, and that was it. I was done. I was like, okay, from now on, I'm making my own damn costumes. No more store-bought.
I can understand it. So, like, pretty much, was she into costuming and cosplay? Like, how did she have the bolts on hand were they real bolts or were they plastic bolts or what?
No, there were plastic bolts that she put on there. To this day, I don't really know if she was into cosplay, because now she is an ordained minister. So
Okay.
I don't know back in those days if she just like well, she was kind of artistic, you know, in her own way. So
Mhm.
she might have had a love for the costume, you know, itself. But this is going way back in the day before cosplay was cosplay. Nobody even had a name for it back then. I said this is all way before. I was 8 years old when it happened. So we're talking about 1978. You know, when this came about. You
Mhm.
know, but it did. It was the first spark of creativity in the sense of taking my drawing skills and applying it to actual 3D sculpture, which is what living art is. It's 3D sculpture basically.
Mhm.
You know, but yeah, that was definitely for me the beginning.
Okay then. How long have you been doing commissions then? Since you've been doing it, doing costuming since you were 8. Like, how long have you been making this into a business, something you actually can survive on?
Well, I did my first commission. I was 20 years old, very first one. Um, let's see. As far as doing it as a business, it's been going for about 10 years now that I've been doing this. The last year and a half, I decided to make it more of a public face with the YouTube channels, Facebook, so more people know about me. Before that, it was just people in the neighborhood that knew about me. You know, word talks. No one come to me. You know, I've done costumes like Silver Devils, Blue Devils. I've done a Chakotay and 7 of 9 Borg fashion. You
Uh-huh.
know, for clients that was a blast when I did that.
We talked about your first costume. Like, what was your first like cosplay? Your first thing you did when you went to a convention and actually dressed up?
Wow. Let's see. I did a mashup with beauty.
Original character.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, kind of. But if you think back to the TV show Beauty and the Beast,
Hmm.
I did a mashup of Beast and Mr. Sinister from X-Men.
That sounds so awesome.
I was in a lot better shape back then. Right now I got the Buddha, you know. But back then, I had got a black spandex that was ribbed, so I had the little lines in it, similar to what the Sinister's costume had. 'Cause I don't sew. That is my downfall. I don't sew. So I had that. I had a friend make the actual cape for me, but I actually took out the time and I sculpted the actual face, the prosthetic of it. And instead of it being more of a lion's complexion, I made it stark white, like Mr. Sinister's face. I put the
Hmm.
red dot up in here, the whole 9 yards. I made it so that when I talk to move, the masks talk to move, so I can eat normally and whatnot.
What
You know,
what made you think of Mr. Sinister and Beauty and the Beast?
I always loved the power of the Beast. Very, very powerful character, but he was also very aware of his power, so he kept it in check a lot. He only saw it when it had to be used. And then you had Mr. Sinister, a man that was pretty much drunk on power and used it every chance he can get. So it was two opposites on the spectrum that I made into one.
I would have never thought of you doing something like that. It's actually pretty. You actually put a lot of thought into when you do a cosplay instead of like, oh yeah, I like this character. I'll just dress up as that one. No, it's actually
Oh
a
yeah,
deep
yeah,
thought process.
yeah. I have to relate to the character. For myself, always gotta be to relate to him.
So that's your first cosplay. What about your first commission? Like the first time you've been paid for making a costume?
The first one was the Silver Devil. I actually worked at a
For,
place called
for those who don't know, I have like me. What is the Silver Devil?
just a devil with silver skin.
Oh, okay.
Um, but what happened was I worked at a place in Manhattan called Ruby's Costume Company. Really, really big, famous Halloween costume store. You know, they actually opened almost like from they might have changed the hours now, but it used to be from August to a week after Halloween they were open. Huge store. I mean, a lot of stars, P Diddy, the whole 9 yards would go there to buy costumes and stuff.
Mhm.
So I ran the actual appliance counter. So I was in the center of the store, and we sold like the fake horns, the eye patch pieces, zombie kits, whole 9 yards. And the owner knew that I had a love for this stuff, so I would do demonstrations there as well. So I had one guy come to me one day and ask me, man, can I have you, hook me up with a costume? I said, what you want to be? He goes, I want to be a demon, but I want to be kind of a millennium type demon, something different, not just a red skin. I said, well, there's silver. That's different. He was like, that's true. I said, but now you have to first make sure that you don't have any allergies, because silver paint actually has metal flecks in it. So if I was you, take a bottle of sample tube here, put a little dot on the back of your hand, let it sit there for about 15 minutes. Wipe it off. If you don't feel any irritation, any redness, you're good to go. So you can take that route. So he immediately bought the little sample right then and there and dabbed it. Just right off the bat. He goes, well, I
Yeah,
got you here.
I couldn't do something like that though, because I actually have a very rare silver allergy. Like I actually cannot wear anything silver on my body, or else I will break out. So
But yeah, so it worked out. He liked that, and he asked me, some ideas. I told him, well, you figure if you're going to be more bestial, you should have some fur, for hooves. Wrap it around your legs. Get some old Chinese slippers. So you guys that don't know the little one with the split toe.
hmm
Get a pair of those. You can paint those white at the base first, and then hit it with some brown on the bottom. You got your fur up on top. Boom, you got a hoof. Simple, low tech, but you got a hoof.
okay, I'm gonna take
So,
notes for that when I do another one.
so so he was like, you got some good ideas. Could you actually put together a costume yourself? I was, oh yeah, I can do that. So came back into the store and he looked at the design and he like just went ballistic. He loved it. He was like, so what would we do for my skin? Because I have no problem showing my body. But how do we cover that? I said, well, we've got this thing called liquid latex paint. Great for the body, and we have a metallic silver. Paint your whole body in that, and it becomes like a second skin. He was like, oh, wow. I was like, okay, so we have to come up with a day so you can do me. I said, well, man, right now, we work like 6 days a week. Because as it gets near to Halloween season, we work harder and harder. So, we retail, like retailers, so we worked it out to where I get an hour lunch break. Well, I had an hour lunch break back then. So he came into the store and he bought all the pieces that we needed to work with. There was a park about half a block from the job. Went out to the park and applied the whole thing in an hour in the park on him. So the entire
Impressive.
face, yeah, the entire face and neck was done. I adhered the fur to him and whatnot. I put the paw tips on him. The only thing he had to do was paint the silver body paint on his body, which had been simple. Everything else was done. So he went home like that, got his girlfriend to go ahead and paint him up, and he won like 2 or 3 contests that whole week wearing the outfit.
Nice. So, going back to how you make props and everything like that, is that well, me looking into learning how to do props, I found out about peppercorn, and I was wondering, like, a lot of things that you make, I don't think there's peppercorn files for those. So, do you use peppercorn? Do you use freehand or?
It's all freehand. All freehand.
Nice.
um, I like peppercorn. It is great if you're a person that does not know how to draw. It's an
Me,
awesome program for that. There
I
you
do
go.
I do video editing. I do special effects. I can't draw with nothing. I even have a Wacom tablet, but I don't draw on it. I use it for editing.
Oh man, I love Wacoms. Oh, that and Cintiqs. I am saving up for that big bad boy now. The one that's like $2,000. I
Yeah.
so want that tablet. Oh,
So
oh,
everything's all freehand. That is
yes.
once again very amazing because I couldn't even imagine doing half of that stuff. But I guess would you consider peppercorn being like a good beginning to figure out how things are created first, and then once you get better at it, you can do freehand?
Um, yes and no. It stems back to being able to draw. If you're a trainer, like me, I'm a trained artist, so I can eyeball shit and draw and make my own patterns. If you don't have that skill set, definitely go with the Pepper Crow program. Definitely, that is your end all be all save your ass program basically right there. But if you are a trained artist, in my opinion, it's actually better to just simply freehand because when you go to if you ever get a chance to visit like Stevenson Studios, Legacy Studios, they don't use that because all the guys there are trained artists. There are things that happen especially on the fly, building a costume that Pepakura cannot figure out, cannot solve. Um, when it comes to making adjustments, a person's body type, size, or shape, with Pepakura, you can scale to a certain degree, up or down, but everybody's body is unique. Some people's necks are longer than others. Some people's fingers are shorter than others. Some are longer than others. With Pepakura, you can't change that without changing the entire program.
The cyborg cosplay that we all saw on the page was amazing. I saw the videos for it. It was amazing. Once again, you did freehand. I'm quite sure you did that. But what made you go as him? Like, what made you choose Injustice Cyborg?
Well, one, I love the game. Game was off the hook.
Wait. Xbox or PS3?
Xbox.
We need to talk. Anyway, continue.
I love the designs of the game. I love how how DC, and whatnot, Marvel, how they gave the guys that made it the freedom to mess with the costumes. They all have some type of armor. They don't look like cloth. They look like armor. Even when you look at Superman's armor, you can see the bolts and rivets on certain parts of the costume. I love the design so much. I love the game. I loved Cyborg. I loved seeing how they did this black iconic character, in the game. And so I was a very powerful person, very smart man. Whereas armor, I love doing armor designs, hands down. So I was like, that is something a big dude can wear and rock. I try to pick costumes for myself where even though I'm the size that I am, I will still look decent in it. I don't like trying to do a costume that is not within my body frame at all. Because to me, that kind of just defeats the purpose. I mean, you can cosplay what you want to. Definitely, what makes you happy, do it. But just for me, I like to be as close to that actual character as possible, and size does play a part in it.
I understand that completely. The three cosplays I've done, I kept them within the body frames I cared. The first one was Sean Matsuda from Third Strike, and that's when I was a much slimmer frame than what I am now. And I did pretty good. The judges actually liked mine, but he had to get judge's choice because somebody went as the. Have you ever seen Full Panic Fumofu?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, someone actually came in the full body mouse suit with the shoes squeak every time he walks.
Wow.
He loved my costume. He really is like, dude, I'm sorry, but this is amazing. It actually squeaks while you walk. So it's like, I understand. It's a great cosplay. I am not going to down you for that, man. So Walter C. Dornez, the Wire guy. I actually got on ScrewAttack.com, they put a thing of their top 25 cosplays they liked. And they got a picture of mine. They put me as number, 10 or 9? I can't remember which one it was. It was actually pretty close in the top 15. So I was quite happy with that because it worked with my hair. That's the issue I run into, is that my hair limits what I can do. Because
man, you should do a bishop or a static shock. You'd be good to go.
Everyone has told me static shock. I'm working on it. People got to give me a chance here. I got to get slimmer for that. I had to. And then now I'm working on Kuma from One Piece, which is a pretty big guy, but his skin tone's pretty close to mine, and he more has an afro than dreads, but it still works together. I usually work with characters who are near my skin tone, don't have to be, and with long enough hair. That's usually what I go for my cosplays. Okay, so I'm going to get on a touchy subject because you said you're fine with your body type, but we know some people out there are some haters, let's just put it like that. And you're a bigger guy, and you're playing a character who is not exactly the biggest guy out there. He's actually quite fit with like a bajillion abs that are all mechanical. Did you ever get any bad comments or any type of bad feedback about your costume by you being a big guy playing this character?
Never. I've never gotten any at all, and I think probably because I spend so much time getting the suit as accurate as possible. You know, like
Hmm.
when I did Cyborg, I chose the regime skin, which when you look at all of the different skins available in that game, the regime skin is by far the most complex. The detail, the way the back is done, the abs section where that's done, the legs, it's just detail up and down. So that's something that not a lot of people will even look at trying to attempt unless you were really skilled, in doing this for a long time. So I always try to challenge myself. So I went for that one, and I walked around KamaraCon with that thing on, and this one girl came right up to me, dropped to her knees, and like bowed. I was like, okay, that's different.
Challenge accepted and completed.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
That's
Everybody,
amazing.
yeah, everybody loved it.
Now, we talked earlier. We actually talked a while ago, and you say something about doing something for a web series, a kind of demon skin or horn or something like that. Can you give us a little bit of detail? I know you maybe on the contract you can't say certain things, but what exactly are you making, and how challenging is it so far?
Oh, yeah, that's no problem. It's a upcoming web horror series called Clot, and the producer and director, his name is John Pyatt, another black guy doing the damn thing. You know, he came up with this great story of dealing with demons and humans and whatnot, and he saw a picture of my Dragon Scion costume,
Hmm.
the one with the spine that lights up. And he was like, that'd be awesome if he had something like that for his demons. Because some of the lower demons, you really don't see too much of the body. It's all like a black bodysuit. But he wanted, this bone type protrusion coming out the back, and to match the face masks that he acquired. So I told him sure. I did a couple of sketches. The sketches were pretty much exceeded his expectations. He loved it, and then we start talking about materials, and with all clients, I give them a high and low end. If you got a regular type budget, we can use this. But if you've got the money, we can do this. So we went ahead with the low end version. A little more work on my part, but at the same time, it still gives them a very, very, very good and unique demonic spine.
So, for those who are interested in it, do you have a timeline on when that show will be out on the web series? Will it be on YouTube? Will it be somewhere else?
I do know that he's going to be shooting, I believe, a pilot towards the end of this month
Okay.
for the
So,
first episode.
so
So,
we should probably look for it sometime probably next year.
as soon as it comes out, I'm definitely gonna make sure that I post it, on both my pages so everybody can see it.
Awesome.
Um, but yeah, I did the back for him. Also did some claws for him recently, and sent them off to him as well. He loved the claws. They're evil. They're vicious. They're similar to the texture on the back. He has a nice looking demon. He also has a guy named Pete, I think Pete Mandler, I think it is, who's doing the main demon, and that he's actually sculpting from head to toe, and that looks crazy. It's coming out bananas.
I am curious to know what material is it that is your favorite thing you like to make things out of?
It kind of varies according to the project actually, but EVA has high marks with me. It's up there. Um, WonderFlex is also good too. WonderFlex actually works very, very well with EVA. Um, WonderFlex is a thermoplastic material. You can go ahead and build your base, structure out of EVA, and then you can use the WonderFlex as trim or parts that you want to raise up that are thin. Just heat the bad boy up, and it sticks right to the EVA foam perfectly. Does not come off easy. You gotta yank that bad boy to try to get it off the EVA.
Mhm.
So they work together very, very well. EVA is also cost effective.
Yes, it is. So
So
okay, so with material right now, EVA is high up in there, so it's Wonderflex. What about your favorite tool to use? Like, is there a tool that you, when you're making a cosplay, it's like I can't wait to use this. This part's gonna be so much fun because this tool is just awesome.
well, if there's not really any one tool. It's a tool set. Exacto knife, Dremel. Definitely need a Dremel. Don't even start it unless you got a Dremel. Plain and simple. A
Mm.
Dremel simulates just about every tool in the big size shop, depending on the attachment that you put onto it. You know, let me show you. This right here is a Dremel,
Hmm.
and right now I have my wand attached to it. Reason being, this Dremel tool is so powerful. There's so much torque in it. When you try to do detailed work, your hand is going like this. So you can't get too much detail with it. But
Right.
if you have the wand eliminates all of that torque.
Okay.
So you can get in there and you can do fine work with it. But yeah, Dremel, X-Acto knife, heat gun. I would say that those three pieces. Oh, and lots of Sharpies. You're gonna need
All
lots of
right.
Sharpies. But
Okay.
those are like the core.
Okay. So, was there ever a situation to where someone commissioned you to do some work, or you did it on your own, that everything about the prop just went wrong? Like you couldn't get anything right. It took forever. Eventually, you got it right, but it was like the hardest thing you ever do. Was just like nothing went right the entire situation.
Not all one project, but you will have hiccups in almost every project.
Hmm.
Even masters like Steve Wang, when they do their molds for their big monsters, he even says, it's almost the first pull almost never comes out right. Second or third pull will come out perfect. But it's really, really rare for that first shot of the dog. It works properly. I had a client who wanted to get her boyfriend a cloud sword from Final Fantasy. And she wanted the one that separates. I told her, I said, I'm sorry, you couldn't afford that. That is a lot of work, and you're looking at a couple thousand for me to make that sword for you. The exact size of the blade in the anime and in the game. So she asked, well, can I have one of this all put together? So I said, yeah, so we can do that. I got about three-quarters of the way building the sword, and at certain points, I take a day away from work, just step away from the entire project, and come back to the next day, and I'll look at it. You have to do that
Hmm.
because you'll get so caught up in every little piece, you'll forget about the whole picture. You know, damn. I saw a couple areas, and I was like, no, mm-mm. And I rebuilt the whole sword from scratch in like 4 days. A project that took me over a month and a half to do, I rebuilt the entire thing in 4 days. It was much lighter, easier to carry, um, much more accurate, on point. No, I was happy with the thing. You know, so it does happen.
So out of all the things you've done out of all these years, because as far as I know, you've been doing commissions for 20 years, and I know it's
Yeah.
almost like picking like who's your favorite child or anything like that. But is there any costume out here that you just love, that you just loved making, you loved how it looked, you loved how the person seemed to it? Is there a costume out there just like, oh my god, this is my favorite thing I've ever done?
Uh, hmm. Cyborg.
Of
I
course.
really loved how he came out. My Dragon Scion. I love to. I'm gonna rebuild that completely too. But I loved how it came out. I did it myself. I did my girlfriend, and I did her son, all in that same vein. I mean, my girlfriend as an enchantress. I actually made a corset out of EVA for her.
Huh?
Yes.
You made a corset out of EVA foam?
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
definitely gonna have to talk to you in the future because I know somebody who's interested in corsets, and if I can make it out of EVA foam, I will be in so much good graces.
It definitely can be done. But I did that for her, for her son, who was at that time 9 years old. I made him a sword. I mean, he was my dragon squire, so I made him a sword. But this sword was almost as tall as I am, and I'm 6'2".
Mm.
So you got a kid that's, barely pushing, 3 4 5 inches tall with a 6 foot sword, you know, which lit up too. All the rooms and the sword lit up,
Awesome.
So it
So
was cool.
So for people who are interested in wanting to talk to you about commissioning you or just getting basic tips on how to make stuff, because I know I've contacted you about a certain prop I'm working on, and I'm still having issues with this point in time. Where can they contact you? Like, let's get a Facebook page, Twitter page, anything you have right there, anything that you want to promote.
I am a busy person. I can't answer every question because, good lord, I do between 5 and 6 costumes at a time. So you can imagine how much work that takes. But if I am free, you can go to my Fancy Armors by DaVincci on Facebook, or my Cosplay Engineer also on Facebook. Um, you can also go on YouTube. I have a bunch of my costumes on YouTube. Some of them I reveal some tips and some tricks on how to do certain things that I do using a Dremel, using the knives, all that other good stuff. If you look on YouTube under Fancy Home by DaVinci, you should see a whole bunch of stuff. I've done the prototype 2 arm. I did that. That's on there, which that got well received at SecuriCon last year. Um, Black Panther chess piece, that's on there.
Mm.
Uh, Gurren Lagann is on there. Demon Claws is on there. The Clot Back is on there. The Osiris Alien Gauntlet I just showed you, that's on there. If you're a fan of High School DxD, I am doing the Dragon Booster currently. That's
Yes,
on there.
we saw a couple of gifts of that on the page, so I'm quite aware what that thing can do. But I would like to thank you so much for doing this interview with me, man. This is really
Mhm.
great, and hopefully now people know more about you and spread the word around, and hey, more networking for you, man. So
Yes.
very nice meeting you. This is the Rebel interview. This Mr. Davence Young, or Da Vinci as he likes to be called,
Mhm.
and thank you so much. Have a good day. Hope to see you
Thank you,
Rebels
man.
later. Later.
Definitely will.